Good evening. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How you doing? How's it going? How's everyone doing? Happy Wednesday, is it? God, I have no idea. I never have any idea at the moment what day of the week it is. I'm terrible. I hope you are doing well. So it's going to be a super chilled one this evening. We shall see how long we get. We are going to be working in Zimba Zoo, which is my African themed dealie. Hey Lindsay, how you doing? And there are a few things that have changed since you last saw it, since the last stream and since the last video. I have been working in this sort of foyer middle bit of the donut, which is coming along. So I'll show you where we are. So this is the entrance, and if you remember, we had this kind of entrance area, little empty space before that I've started to work on, started to fill in, and then I think in the last stream we started working on this flamingo habitat, which still needs a load of work to be done, but I've started to kind of progress a little bit. I made a bit of progress, as you can see. So I was working on these little umbrella things, which I don't know how you're supposed to use these, but what I've ended up with I'm fairly happy with. But so this is like a base game thing. I'm like, how the hell are you supposed to use these? I have to say I've never used them. I don't know what you're supposed to, how you're supposed to snap them together. So they do have like a position snap, and they snap to like that position. But then I'm always like, what? What are you supposed to do with that? What's it supposed to end up being? Like, how's it end up being a shade? So I ended up just kind of cobbling something together that's like a shady thing. So the whole thing of Zimba is supposed to be that it's like it's supposed to be like a kind of modern. I didn't want to go like too old-fashioned-y twee with Zimba. Like, it's supposed to be an African setting. It's supposed to be fairly modern. It's supposed to be that it kind of doesn't feel kind of too kitsch. So I'm trying to do stuff that kind of makes it feel a bit cooler. So I think that's kind of coming along. So we've got this like shaded area. At the moment I've just created this little raised deck section. Made these little tables, which I think have come out all right. And I haven't got a path under this yet though, so I don't think there's going to be a path under it. I think this is just going to be like an implied area for sitting. I think this whole area is going to end up being like a food bit, but also like a few little things like donation. You got a black screen? Oh, how have you got a black screen? Hold on a second. What have I ended up doing? Sorry, guys. What did I do there? Hold on a minute. There we go. Sorry, I don't know how I did that. Hang on, let's see if that happens again. Has that happened again? I think that should be good. Sorry, I don't know how I did that. Just went off. Yeah, I think I must have clicked on something I didn't realise. Sorry, peeps. Professional streamer right here. So at the moment I've got, this needs to be like a little toilet area. This is like a little, so I've got this is all just not going to be anywhere that we really ever look, but I've got the guest gate hidden in here and a toilet. And I need to do that a few more times so that they don't feel like they're coming in. Because if you remember all the way back over here, we've got the spawner. The only spawner at the moment is in that bus. So they come out and they kind of head round on the path, and then at the moment they only really enter the zoo when they go into that bit back there. So eventually that needs to kind of look like it's actually a toilet and be because otherwise at the moment they all kind of just look like they're walking into a wall, which needs to change. So we've got many a thing to do. And the other thing that I need to work on is like what the hell's going on with that. I haven't really decided what's going to go on with that. And I haven't really decided what each of these little kind of sections of this area are going to be. I think that turned out pretty well. That's like a little kind of implied fountain thing. That's looking alright. And then they'll come through the gift shop. So this will be the gift shop on the left. So in and out is both the same. So everyone coming in and out of the zoo will come through this section. And as you can see, I've done a bunch of kind of fiddling about with paths and things. So this is really our kind of objective for today. Just shove that over there somewhere. Is to get this first little entrance area a bit more developed and a bit nicer looking. And it's kind of handy to have these little, if you do these little gaps in the path and things, you can kind of end up with, like this looks nothing at the moment. I think by the time we've kind of dressed this all and used these little gaps, this will look alright. So what we're going to do is, I think we're going to start by just kind of, can we get rid of that little gap there? See if we can get rid of that little hole there. So I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to keep the actual path texture or overlap it with something else. But I would like to just kind of, oh, that's the problem. I kind of like to get rid of that little nub, so it's a little bit wider here. What's that? What have we actually got going on? Can I smooth that out? Oh no. Alright, that might have to stay then. So this is one of those things that sometimes you end up with these little eccentricities, because once you've done this whole thing, so if you haven't seen this before, this is the how you smooth out. This is a pretty common, easily known trick, but it's like a little eccentricity of how the game does curves and things. So if you do like that and you want to smooth that out, you can just kind of find a place in the middle of the corner, and then I'm left clicking to add that and then right clicking to take it away, and see how it kind of smoothed it out. And so you can end up with kind of nice, more interesting kind of curves and things. But what you'll find, the downside of that is that when you take it away, it takes away great big chunks, which is what I've just had there. So if I try and see how that's like all one piece of path all merged together, and one click would remove that whole section. So that's the kind of the downside of that. But I think we're just gonna do some. Like prettifying, if that's a word. So I'm gonna find a nice. I think I'm gonna find a nice stone texture just to kind of make these borders. Or like probably actually even a curb would do it. So maybe just like a plaster curb piece would work for this. So I just want to do something that separates these two sections off. And then we'll do some decorative bits and pieces and stuff. So I'm still really enjoying Zimba. I think it's a little bit less popular with you guys. I think most people prefer Tigridoo, my Canadian one, and they're both. I have to say, I think I'm enjoying them pretty much both the same at the moment. I think Tigridoo is a little bit further on, definitely. But I think my plans for this, because I'm doing this on the full map, right? So my potential plans for this are pretty huge. and probably exceed my ability, my ability to be able to do it on this map. We shall see. I keep trying to decide whether I want this path out here to be black, or this just a normal base game grey. The trouble is the base game grey is so kind of boring looking, but I'm still trying to keep it fairly realistic, so I don't want it to run away too much. I was watching a Planet Zoo stream yesterday, and it was, oh God, I can't actually remember what it was. I think it was an Estan Wolf stream, and he was talking about how, basically we're kind of in the new window for DLCs for Planet Zoo, which is always kind of funny because I never feel like I think a lot of people talk about how they're kind of desperately needing, like looking for a DLC. I'm often never in that position. I think there's definitely a thing that happens in the game that between DLCs there is like a stagnation that happens to an extent. Like the summer stagnation is always a thing in YouTube world. It's like there's just less people watching stuff on YouTube and things, and everything just does a little bit worse and all that sort of stuff. But if you kind of just don't really pay too much attention to it, then you're all good. I like what we've got, but would love more building pieces. Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. It will be interesting to see. I mean, the speculation would have us believe that we have a North American DLC fairly imminent, and so you can kind of see some. I guess you can see that as being an entirely new pack because we don't have that as a theme, right? Quite what goes along with North America and North American DLC, I'm not sure. Like building pieces wise, you can kind of, I guess you can kind of think maybe it'll be a little bit more like ranchy or something. I don't know. I think the DLCs that have done well in the game, in my opinion, have been ones that haven't been too extreme in the theming. You know, not too, like, they have a bit of a tendency to go a bit too kind of I don't know, like Disney-esque, I guess. That can just be a bit of a thing that they do. I would love to see like just a, I don't know, like a, well, I think we'll get more, I'm pretty sure we'll get more animal packs as well. There's been some conversation in the community amongst about how that is a bit of a it's a bit of a killer for the game. Personally, I don't really think it really matters that much. It's one of those things that it certainly doesn't spark. It certainly doesn't spark. Maybe the builders quite so much, but the game is, I think, largely about, or for people watching, is largely about. It's largely about the animals, right? Like you have to have the animals. The animals are the vehicle through which to get your creative juices going. I have to say, I don't like. I'm kind of not really now at a point where I have a burning desire for new pieces. There's not loads of pieces that I think we're missing now. Most of the things I think we're missing, I don't think most of the things that I think I'd like, I don't think we'll get. Like I'd love to see just like really like smaller pieces. like smaller building pieces. There's so many times that I just kind of want to do something and the piece that I've got is too big, and so you end up reverting to like just a bracket or something, just that little black bracket that just ends up being what you use because there's nothing else you can use. But I think there's a reason why that is. I don't know if they just like don't massively want to increase the piece count for everybody, which I guess is what you do. The smaller the pieces get, the more pieces you get, and then the less optimized the game can feel and all that sort of stuff. Love a bit of curbing. It's got to be a love. You got to love a bit of curbing for a chill out. Got to love a bit of curb. Bit of curb work for a chill out. Right, I'll do that for a second, and then we'll do. I think we'll do this as like a. Is that linked? It's one of those weird situations. Is that? Oh, that's linked now. Okay. I don't know if I actually even want the guests to walk on that, but I want it to look like they can, maybe. So that at the moment looks like they could walk on it. So if I just put benches along that, for example, that would look like they could move from this path to that path, and they'd be stopped when they get to that area. And then that will be a planter, and this will be a planter, and then these gaps will be planters. But yeah, no, I don't think I have like a massive. I don't have a massive list of things that I want build piece wise now. As I said, other than like small bits. Probably just not as familiar with the pieces as the likes of yourself. I spend forever scrolling. Yeah, I mean I have to say most of the time when I'm building now, I know what I'm looking for. You know, if you've got most of the time it's, and actually the more pieces you get, the harder it is to know what you're looking for. But yeah, you still do spend. I still spend a reasonable chunk of time scrolling through stuff, because sometimes you just can't decide what you want in that in that spot. Let's not do that. Let's try and cover this over. But yeah, no, I don't. I just don't think I have like a big. I don't think I have a big list of things that I'm like. When are we going to get that now? I think the mesh pieces were a big part of that. I would quite like to see. I think I'd like to see an improvement to the lighting. Because that's the thing that I feel like quite often I end up struggling with the lighting. I was working on something today in Tigridu, which you won't see for a little bit, but it was. Yeah, I was just like, I was trying to make it, I was trying to make a room, the inside of a room look light, look like it was lit, and it was so difficult to get it to look like it was, like I had to put down like so many lights just to get it to look like it was actually kind of, like a lit room. Because a lot of the lights only do like spot, or they'll do kind of like focal lights for emphasizing things. But if you want to just light a space up, it's really difficult. Doesn't do that so well. What we're going to do there, we shall have a little think about that in a second. So I think these places where we've got like a border, that I'll do more like a rock thing. So let's have a look. What have we got? Let's have a look in here. So I think just like a little something like that. Let's maybe just darken that up a bit. just to make an edge, like a little border for a planter. I've started, when I'm working on paths actually now, I've started having the game running. Because sometimes you'll notice the guests just kind of clipping out of the edge of the path. And you got to kind of consider how they're going to path through a section sometimes. Because it's the most annoying thing. I've got a bit of a pet peeve when I see people's builds that have just got like, and I've have it as well. But like the guests don't quite. Often will just kind of cut a corner. I don't think any of these guys are doing it, which is all right. So rather than like turn like that, they would just come through that, and you'd see their arm clip through the side of something. But yeah, this one's got a long way to go, definitely. But I have lots of big plans. Lots of plans for it. And I think there's probably going to be, I don't know, I feel like this one's may well end up running longer than Tickle Do, because as I said, it's a full map, so we've really only got kind of the start of this first habitat and the elephants back there. This is working better. I was a bit worried about the change in the height there. But I think this is working better already, because I've kind of hidden a lot of it away, and you don't feel that change in the grade quite so much. So I wonder if I can kind of do something along this little edge. Hey Lee, we only really literally just started, so I started off kind of in there, but I haven't done anything there. We've only literally just put in these curbs and stuff at the moment. We're just kind of working on this bit. I've got to blend some of these little sections in, basically. That's getting progressively lower and lower into the ground, isn't it? Yeah, it's not going to be a big kind of sweeping changes stream. They're not usually. They're usually pretty slow. little slow, gradual progress, but what can we do here? I think maybe we'll use the tropical. Actually, it should be the Savannah rock, shouldn't it? Savannah. So if I use this puppy on its side like that, can I make these feel like they're little raised beds or something? Just kind of do a couple of these little. Yeah, see what I mean? So like you got to be careful about where you place things that slightly overlap the path, because I don't want them clipping into this, but they're gonna. I think that's probably actually one of the very few things that I'm still missing. That we have things in Planet Coaster, like the kind of ability to be able to block guests from getting to particular areas. That would be so handy. I guess you got to think as well, when we get a paid DLC, like what's the free update content going to be as well? Because we usually get a really good free update alongside it, right? So what would be that? What would be in that? And they've typically done the stuff that's kind of the, I guess you'd kind of say is the like technical debt stuff that they've had left over from from Coaster. So like the billboards and the mesh and all that sort of stuff. The things that are, I guess, the things that you'd kind of expect to have seen. Oops. So this would be a good little spot just to have like a tree or something growing in here. Force, or maybe we'll force some mulch into there. Squeeze some bits of mulch in or whatever. Do 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 do. But yeah, it's definitely. I think we're in that place where we kind of. Yeah, we could use another DLC just to kind of spark the community back into it. But I'm trying to think what we got last year. I feel like we didn't get a DLC around this time last year, but maybe we did. I guess last year was always going to be difficult to judge by. This is going to be a weird summer, I think. Well, I guess it already has been a bit of a weird summer. But yeah, I've been noticing with a lot of people, well, especially with my content, obviously, but with a bunch of people's that are like, you know, the kind of normal, the regular people that put out Planet Zoo content. It just is very notable that everybody's yeah, it's just a bit quiet. The old YouTube views are a bit quiet, the streams are a bit quiet, all that sort of stuff. Here we go. Right, so that would be a nice little spot for a tree. This one definitely will be, for a bit more decoration. Hey Swifty, how are you? Do 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 do. Hope you're doing well. Right, let's grab those. Stop doing individual placement of all these. Doing my nut in. Doing my nut in. There we go. But yeah, I need to decide what I'm doing in that inner courtyard. This is probably yeah, this one's super disjointed because I keep working in all these different places. I've now started in the elephants. So you brought the elephant habitat over in one of the first streams on this zoo, and then I think that, well, all the car park and everything is all done on this one. And then I've got this whole kind of inner compound thing going on. I need to decide what I'm doing in like here. I'm wondering if maybe it's just going to have like different food places in it. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. And then this is going to be your like funnel off to the various different directions. So that's going to take you over towards the like gorilla house and stuff, which is going to be that way. Yeah, still got loads. I mean, it's like, especially animals wise, I'm still not desperately looking for a new DLC, but we shall see. I think we're probably going to get, I don't know what we'd get as a new DLC for animals, like what would be a pack, unless they just start doing like top up packs, which I guess they could do, like topping up some of the missing animals from various different packs. Because I kind of think that I don't know. I kind of think the neglected continents, like there's no European, there's no North America yet. So North America seems like it's the most obvious immediate one, but Europe is a bit of a tricky one as a DLC because you're like, well, what do you do? It's very strange to think of something like a DLC that's got like a badger in it. That doesn't seem like zoos don't like. Do zoos have badgers in them? I don't think I've ever seen a badger in a zoo. But maybe that's because I'm European. Maybe in South America, you go to a zoo, you might see a badger or a squirrel, something. I don't know. It seems weird to think that would be the case, but. They're more like the sort of things you'd see. I don't know. I don't think you'd ever see that in a European zoo. Yeah, I think that's when we're getting the North American stuff, because I've said this before. I'm like, you basically can't do a North America pack without a bald eagle, right? And so North America, I think, has to come with aviaries. Otherwise, like, I don't know. Even that, as the rest of the pack, I guess you can do. I mean, I guess you can do another bear again, and you can maybe do like moose and stuff. That would be pretty cool. Actually, for me, it seems normal to have a badger in a DLC. Hey, Guy. Well, Guy, just out of interest, then, whereabouts in the world are you from, dude? Because I see the sense of having it, but I think it would be strange to see. I don't know, but as I said, I've personally never seen a badger or just like a normal red fox in a zoo. But I guess maybe that's just because they're like my native species. There could be black squirrels in the pack. They have those in North America. Black squirrels. Interesting. Yeah, it would be a bit like. I think it would be a bit like seeing a raccoon. Maybe you get raccoons in zoos. Maybe. Tape show builds are insane and amazing. Thank you, Swifty. That's very kind of you. You're very sweet. Do we want those with mulching, or should we just not bother? Maybe we just don't. We don't bother. They don't really need to have them in. Yeah, I think we will, because I think these will be. I think I want these to feel a bit more tropical. Yeah, but actually, I was meant to tweet about this, but I'm about to hit. I think I'm at 499 followers on the workshop, which is pretty cool. I think the my Babirusa habitat that I did last week is in the like top ranking Planet Zoo gubbins at the moment. Yeah, I mean, maybe there are like badgers and red foxes and squirrels and hedgehogs and that sort of thing in zoos in other continents. Certainly not any that I've been to. So I've clearly picked a task today that's like it's like a fairly simple one to do. It doesn't require a lot of brain power. There we go. Hey Beckaboo, how you doing? How's you? Are you all good? Yeah, I think my thing would be that like I can't imagine a European pack that doesn't feel a bit like a petting zoo. I think that's the thing that I would find strange, that it would feel like a petting zoo kind of DLC, which would work. Like you could definitely do that. But if things like, I guess things like horses and stuff you do see in zoos. See what I mean? That they literally just charging over the top of that. Pain in the bum. Hope sometimes to be Europe DLC, Aquarium DLC, and North America DLC. See, I think if we got a European DLC, that I can see how European DLC would definitely would contain building parts, right? That kind of makes sense. A boost to the classical stuff. The classical stuff is a bit naff, and some things that are a little bit more like architecturally interesting. The classic pack doesn't get used very much. Well, I certainly don't use it very much because it's all a bit naff and all a bit too kind of overdone. I think we'll leave that as I'm good. I haven't been in the PZ scene for over like 2 weeks. Super busy, but I'm glad to catch your stream. Yeah, I was sort of saying that, Beckaboo. Not specifically about you. I didn't start the stream with like, where in the deuce is Beckaboo? We've not seen her in. No, I was basically saying how it's. I think it's just the sun. It's the like post-COVID factor, isn't it? And the sunshine and all that sort of stuff. It feels like there's a bit of a community lull at the moment. Just a noticeable kind of people going back to their worlds and all that sort of stuff, which is very much expected. But so I think a lot of people have been in that kind of groove that they're people got shit to do, right? People was busy in their worlds. I just follow. Do I get a badge? No, unfortunately there isn't a badge, Lindsay. You love a badge. God bless you and your badge wants and needs. But there isn't a badge. If there was a badge, I'd give it to you. For sure. Yeah, we were talking about that as well. So what do you think the next? I think it's got to be a. I'd put money on it being a North America DLC, but as I sort of said before, it feels like it's. Can we have a North America DLC without Aviaries? I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. But they must. Maybe we get something at Gamescom. Maybe we get something revealed at Gamescom. PZ have got, or Frontier have got history of doing stuff at Gamescom, right? So maybe there's something at Gamescom. I don't know. Yeah, if there was a badge to be given, Lindsay, you'd have it already. You get my appreciation. You get that. Right, what should we do here? I've got so much to figure out with this bloody build, honestly. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing in here yet. I really don't know what to do. I don't desperately want it to be a building that's got stuff in it because I think it's just going to be such a pain. My plan was originally that it just has things like sticking through it. But I don't really know yet. I can't work it out in my brain. A simple noggin. Yeah, I think I'm dubious about the aquarium thing. I'd love to see it, but I don't personally don't think there's enough scope for an entire game, for example. But it's also kind of just too big to be a DLC. I don't know though. I also think it's a North America DLC. I personally think that's the next DLC. I personally think the next DLC will have Avery's as the big update, and the Bald Eagle will be a part of the roster. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was like, you can't have a North America DLC without the Bald Eagle, right? And then maybe we'll start getting DLCs that are like types of animals. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we start getting we get a like a top up, like a mammal pack, or a I don't know what else, that sort of thing, rather than. I think we'll start to see more and more animal only packs happen. I guess we don't know how far like down the line of progress they are. Like if they're kind of getting to the point where they're wrapping it up now, or what. I hope sometime we get a sharks in the game, like whale shark, and I hope that there will be European animals soon and North American animals. So what would be your European animals of choice? That's my one thing that I'm like, I'd love to have a European DLC, but I'm not sure what the animals would be. Like what they would go for. Hey Fauna, how do you like? I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't know. I just don't like I mean, maybe birds and things, but I struggle. I struggle to see. I'd struggle to see them. Everything you think of that's like a classically European, it's either done or just doesn't. I don't know. Doesn't seem right to do in a. I mean, I guess there's like the Eurasian otter. That's a decent one. We don't have because we've got the. Is it the South American otter we've got? I can't remember the massive one. The red deer I mean, I guess the red deer. But again, I don't know. Do you see that in the zoo? Maybe in like America lands you see that in the zoo, but maybe in America lands you see that in the zoo, but I definitely have never seen. Maybe in like Russia and stuff. We can't have any more bears. Like, can we have a grizzly? We've got a grizzly bear. Working on some full stuff for the workshop. Nice. I mean, I guess they could just do like petting zoo as a thing. Oh no. Oh no. Is that because the path's going up there? It is. That's annoying. It's painful now. Curbing for days. Yeah, I'd quite like a highly endangered DLC. Thank you very much, Fauna. Much appreciated. I'm going to meet him for the first time on Sunday. Just out of the hospital today. And I spoke to my brother today, and he said it's like a circus of people. So he's quite glad that I'm not coming till Sunday. It's like a circus of people parading before. Imagine being a little baby, man. Imagine being a little baby who just like, welcome to the world. Like, imagine the shock. You think everything is normal and fine, and you live in this like warm, muffled world where all your food is just provided for you, and then suddenly you're just thrust into the world, into reality. You're like, oh my god, who are all these big, scary people looking at me? Must be very strange. Lots of pumpkins. Oh, that's your full stuff, is it? Nice. Look forward to seeing it. I wish I didn't care about Z fighting, but I really do, and it doesn't. I just can't. I can't let it go. I can't stop myself from fixing it. Lots of people don't care, but I can't stop myself. I guess we could make that. I guess we could actually make that like bigger, because there's nothing. I can't walk on this section anyway. Hope the animals that will be in Europe will be marmot, alpen ibex. Oh, those are good ones. Yeah, the ibex is a good one. Because we don't have a lot of hoofed stuff, do we? There's not a lot of stuff with a hoof. There's definitely room for more hoofed things. A Swifty in chat. That's like Planet Zoo. What? I'm confused. Hold on. We're going wrong. It's all going wrong. Maybe I can just grab that one. I'm doing all the grindiness first. Non-African hoof stock, exactly. I'm enjoying saying hoof as well. I don't quite know why I'm started saying it like that, because it's not how I speak, but hooved always sounds weird when I say it. Hoofed sounds better. Oh, gold, that's getting messy. I don't really want to do that. Let's not do that. This is the trouble with doing stuff like curbing. You just get really bored of it really quickly. Just get really bored of it. And like, can we just have a button? Can we just have a button that actually does curbs how you want it to? There should be a way of just like having, well, for one thing, there should be a way of putting curbs only on one side of the path. That would be really handy. Imagine the wonders that would bring. But I don't think it's ever going to happen in Planet Zoo World. In Planet World. Prehistoric Kingdom, on the other hand, that's definitely going to have a better path system. Feels like it already. Oh, I see. A Swiftie as in I see. Is that what a Swiftie is? A fan of Taylor Swift? I'm not down with the kids, you see. Is that what you call a Taylor Swift fan? Got ya. A Swiftie. See, a Swiftie in England, or in my culture, in London culture, is something you go to the pub to have with your mates on the way home from work. Like, shall we just nip in for a Swiftie? It's a pint. It's a pint. It's a drink. it's when you shouldn't be having a. It's when you shouldn't be having a drink, but you are having a drink. You're just rushing for a train, or you're supposed to be somewhere. You say, "Should we just have a Swiftie?" Got ya. I see. I can understand. Okay, that's better. I did a better job that time. Good. Right, sweet. Okay, right. So we'll put some greenage in there, I think. Can we just paint that? Oh, hello. Oh, that doesn't work, does it? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? That isn't going to work. That will though. Just paint it in. You know, another thing that would be amazing as well would be able to just have all the terrain brushes, for, like, regardless of what biome you're in, just be able to paint in whatever you want. Because some of this stuff is just a bit annoying, that the fact that you can't kind of. Oh, that's not too bad, I guess. You know what I mean? Sometimes you want to be able to use the terrain paints from a different biome. Okay, so let's pick a nice tree. So far we've used. I've got to be a little bit careful because I've started using the tropical stuff in this center, but the idea was that this center is supposed to feel like it's a bit like a little oasis. It's supposed to feel like it's an oasis in the desertiness, although it's not supposed to be particularly desertiness. So I've used the acacias, I've used the marulas a lot. I've used the occasional fever trees. Have I used anything else? What's that guy? River bush willow. I'm not sure whether I want those. Yes, also I'd love to use the grass from the desert biome for dead grass. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame because it feels like it's I don't know, it feels like one of those things that doesn't feel like it's like that would be that difficult to do, but maybe it is. Because it just feels like Sandbox should just have all of those, right? Just have all of them. I think it's the dirt one I struggle with, because obviously in like the temperate, yeah, that's much darker. Same as the rocks. The rocks are just a lot darker colours in the temperate and the taiga. So what should we go with? We should probably stick with native. So Africa. And I guess this is grassland. See, that doesn't feel like grassland. Africa grassland. None of the palms feel right for grassland. There's not a savanna option, is there? That's it. Grassland. Yeah, it's not what we want. The sausage trees are alright. They're a little large. Might just end up with the marulas. The marulas and the acacias, I guess. I guess we just end up with those. Let's use the marula. Marula. This is one of my faves, definitely. Yeah, that works quite nicely, I think. And I've got to move. Like, oh, this is all needs loads of work. Obviously, I need to move this gate. That's not where that's going to be. They're very chatty, aren't they? The old guests. They're always like just gibbering away something. Do you know what I'd love to see as well? I wish they would stop running so much. I wish there was a way just to like chill them all out. Stop them running around. It really annoys me. The like percentage of them that runs is too much. They just need to take a chill pill. No worries, Swifty. Thank you for stopping by. Let's not do that. I got to work out what I'm doing on this, like across here as well. I think this is probably just going to be fenced. Maybe we just pick up the fence, bang some of it over here. That's just like a border. And maybe we create some burrs or whatever they're called. Ooh, don't be 100%. Let's raise this up a bit. Yes, yes. So what we're using, the marulas and we can maybe go with some fever trees and stuff here. Let's turn that off. What's that one? That's marula. That's acacia. This stuff's all got to move. This was kind of like my little palette of what I really needed to remember, and then I've forgotten that's what I was using. I was using this blackthorn as well. I guess the thing is, because I'm doing these in like what's supposed to be like planted beds, that I can get away with doing stuff that isn't necessarily native. I don't want to go too much with it though. And it's all supposed to feel a little bit rough around the edges. It's not supposed to be like a highly polished place. So nitraria. Why is that not showing up? Is that not in the right biome? Really? What's that biome then? It is. Oh, it's in the desert. Okay. That works. I think that works okay. Oh, the manzanites are quite nice as well. Mazanites or whatever they are. Actually, do you know what I probably could do is just pick up a wodge of some of this stuff I've done over here. Let's just see if I can, like, how's that going to work out? Eek! That's quite a lot. Well, that's not terrible though. Yeah, that would work. So we have to. That would obviously need all filling in. But right. So I'm trying to think. So I think from here, That will be a viewpoint to somewhere. There'll be a building over there. This can probably be closed off as a view. Mainly closed in. Maybe we just put some nice little... Can we do that? Maybe actually that'd be a good spot for like a lamppost or something. Not sure what I'm doing in these yet. I guess I could just kind of fill them in. Well, that's not gonna do it, is it? Yeah, I think that'll be alright. Once we've got some bins and things on it and a few lampposts. And we do some stuff with like yeah, some like trees that look like they're kinda in a little thing. That'll be fine. Elephants, you're very loud. So I'm in this kind of mid stage with both Zimba and Tigridu, where they're both like, yeah, they're both kind of lacking. They're not ready enough for there to be an episode done. Hence the streams, which are probably just going to be a little bit of a holding pattern on both. Let's just move the sun a little bit because that's probably looking worse than it actually is. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that'll be alright. That'll be grand. Yeah, because I'm trying not to put out... I'm not trying not to put... Well, I'm not in a desperate rush to put out an episode on either of them at the moment, to be honest, because... yeah, as I was saying before, just like less people watching stuff on interwebs, and it's quite demotivating. It's massively understandable, but it's quite demotivating when you put an episode out that you've worked for ages on, and there's just less people on the internet to watch them, which is, so I'm kind of a bit like, well, I might just kind of wait. I kind of just wait on some things, not be in a desperate rush to push out content. Right, have we got any kind of, have we been doing anything with lights yet? Have we got anything that's going on? What have we got? We've got lighting, right? Oh, not really. Not much in the way of lighting. There's lighting in the bus stop. Oh my god! Wait for a bus and also get a suntan. Maybe they can just chill out a little bit. No, that's better. You can wait for a bus and also get a suntan. But there's no... Where's the rest of my bloody lights? Have I not done any lights yet? That's very unlike me. These are just from the cars. People have left their lights on. Yeah, no lighting at all. Shocking. Well, I guess that means we can choose what we're doing. Well, what have we got? What's in the Africa pack? For lights. I have a vague memory that they're really over themed. Yeah, those are crap. I don't like any of those. What's this one? Can we make this one into anything? Can that be used? Can we do something with this? See that like those are just too much. Too much. Too themed. Too themed. Can we make this like chill out though? Can we do something with it? Maybe like the Arctic. Maybe the Arctic thing. Like one of these. Oh. Let's have a look. Oh, it's got fire coming out of it though. This one? Is that recolorable? No. So, could you do something? Can I make that into something? I guess that could be a thing. So these are recolorable. Light colour. Just kind of chill it out a bit. Try and match it into that wood type a bit more. It's got that little skirt round it, which isn't terrible. Maybe if we put like a little. Well, that's way too big. See what I mean about them running around too much? People, just chill out. Stop running everywhere. You just need to chill. Just want to like make it just a little bit less themed. Too chunky. What else could I use? So this is definitely one of those moments when I'm potentially scrolling. Doesn't happen that often. See, I can do stuff where I can do floor lighting, alright. So you can take something like that and that reasonably okay end up just being like a little, you know, a little thing that you'd make a floor light out of. Now that's okay, that's easy enough to do. But I want something that's like a standing lamp as well. Let's just do this for a second. So like that, it's just a little, you know, it could be a little pathway light thing that just kind of sits there. So you just have those like all the way around the edges or something. That could look pretty cool. But I do want, they don't make a lot of light. That's the trouble. These sorts of things. Let's just fill that in with a font piece. No, not don't. Font. That guy? No, too small. That one. So just so I don't have to have that bit of concrete showing through, I just go like that. It's not massively necessary, but these are the things that annoy me. If I know it's like that, I'll know it's like that everywhere, and then once I've copied it around a bajillion times, it'll annoy me. And why have 2 pieces when you can have 9 pieces? Much better. Right, so we'll have those like in a bunch of places on the floor. Hey, Miss Palindrome. First time we made him a live stream. Nice. Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we don't do loads of them on. We don't do loads of Planet Zoo. I'm not doing loads of YouTube streams at the moment, to be honest. But as I said, I'm kind of between videos a little bit at the moment, so I thought I'd do some streams because I've got some things to kind of suss out. I just want to make this more generic. I first found you years ago when I first played House Flipper and saw you making a house out of slabs. It blew my mind. Thank you very much. Yeah, we haven't played House Flipper in a while. It will be definitely a thing that returns to the channel at some point. Hopefully when the luxury DLC comes out, that will be enough to kind of spark my interest at the moment. I've made a lot of House Flipper content and done a lot of streams for it. I think I'm just on a bit of a break at the moment. But yeah, welcome, welcome. Bonsoir. Bonsoir. And bonsoir too. Oh, I could never. My French is terrible. I really try. You guys won't have seen this, but I've been really trying to always reply in French to Olivier. Is it Olivier? But yeah, I always try and reply in French, and sometimes I try and work it out myself, but most of the time I Google it because and actually quite funny enough, usually I would say English only in the chat, but because I'm trying to get better at being able to speak French, I actually quite enjoy it. Et tu. I'm trying to work out. Et tu is just like and you, isn't it? Bonsoir. French is such a good language. What am I doing with this? What am I doing with this thing, guys? I'm just trying to make it. I'm just trying to make it less rubbish, but maybe it's just not going to happen. Maybe I just can't make it less themey. I just think that's rubbish. That doesn't do it for me. I only just learned about this game from you, and the customization makes my brain hurt. Yeah, it's definitely one of those things. I'd say it has a massive learning curve, Miss Palindrome. It definitely has a big learning curve, and it's far slower to do things. And I have to say, I struggled to stream this. House Flipper was always quite easy to stream because I think I was just it was a bit more confident in it maybe, but also just it's a little bit less. Yeah, there's a little bit less going on. There's a little bit less like freedom to make up what you're doing. So yeah, whereas this I'm having to use my brain a lot more and be a bit more, creative, which is why things are a lot slower, and I think I just get nervous when things are slow because I'm just like, oh, people want me to do stuff that's like amazing and do it quickly, and it's quite hard to do that in this game. This isn't going to work. Those don't work. Just no. Very similar in multiple languages. Most languages helps when comparing phrases and stuff. Yeah, it's a good language. I wish I had better language. I wish I had better language skills. I also feel, based on what I've seen you do both, that House Flipper is more restricting. It definitely is. 100%. You're 100% right. The more restricting a game is in terms of customization, the faster it is to finish it. 100%. So that video where I made that house in House Flipper, that took a long time. That was, you know, several weeks worth of work to make a 4-minute video. And generally speaking, like my House Flipper videos and my House Flipper content didn't take anywhere near as long as they take in Planet Zoo. What am I doing with this light? I really want to make a light that works, that I'm happy with. I mean, I guess there's that one. Can you make that one feel like it's a bit more genericized? Not really. Can that work as an African light? The thing is, I don't want it to be like... I don't want it to be naff. I just want it to be simple. That could maybe work, to be honest. Hey, Thiessen, how are you? Meanwhile, I'm taking photos to decide what kind of plate I want to put in the kitchen. Yeah. But it's just the way you play, isn't it? I mean, I think the thing is, people either will enjoy... like, some people enjoy just getting stuff done. And I tend to enjoy... I think the thing is, I can look at something and know that the more I work on it, the better it will get, and just trusting that at this time, yeah, when I start looking at it, it's something that, you know, when you look at it like now, you're just kind of going, oh, that looks terrible. But if you just trust that, if you continue to persist with it and have faith that, you know, it gets better. I mean, that there's not an enormous amount to that, but that took a lot of time. And if you just kind of continue working on it and fiddling with it, and that's totally right. House Flipper is, yeah, there's not that much you can do with it. There's just not enough pieces, for example. I've not played Planet Zoo so much recently. Yeah, I think a lot of people were in that bit of a groove, Thiessen, to be honest. I think we talked about this earlier on the stream. I think a lot of people were in that place with the old PZ. So I think we're getting to the stage where we're due a DLC, and, you know, people are coming back out of lockdown and have all that sort of stuff, and summertime, all that kind of gubbins. I wish they would shut up. Maybe we should shut the zoo. Let's shut the zoo because they're annoying me. Get out! Stinky Rook. I have a tendency to demolish all of the walls inside of a house and then rebuild it entirely. It's just a shame you can't remove windows. Ah, well, funny you should say that. That feature is coming soon. That feature is coming soon. They have already announced it. It's already been confirmed. You will soon be able to do whatever you want with Windows. Get out. Get out, my zoo. I did all. I've saying this earlier that I miss Palindrome. They all just move too quickly. Like, there's just too many of them running. Stop. Stop. No, not adding doors, but yeah, Windows. Windows has been confirmed. Windows is the only one they've confirmed. I don't think there'll be a thing for doors. Do I want another tree there? Maybe. What was the other one I was talking about a minute ago? The African one? Mazonite or something, right? Excuse me. How do you spell that? Manzanite? That poppy. It's a bit low. Oh, that could work nicely though. That could work alright. Can we do any jazzification if we add another one into it? Not really. I hate that it does that. I see that weird little thing where it does like a bulbous as you move away. What is that? Stop doing that, growth. I guess this doesn't need to be a custom tree. We can just have it normal. They never look that great anyway. That'll do. Acting like people jogging through an abandoned mall, or yeah, they're just annoying. I just could do without them. It's the tree's knees. The tree's knees. That's quite satisfying to say, isn't it? What is that little bit there? What is this? Why is that there? That's because of that, isn't it? I think we'll find the zoo's actually closed. We've closed for the day, which is the other direction. So you should be leaving. Don't make me get security. Why are they going that way? Oh, there's a spawner there. Okay, maybe they'll get out there. Okay, so I need to decide what I'm doing with this fence as well. Whether this is going to be open here or not. They need to be practicing social distancing. Maybe they're in a bubble. Maybe they're in a bubble. That's the thing, isn't it? Now you want them to jog on. Yeah, please jog on. Are they leaving? They are leaving. It's okay. Maybe I'll actually put these. No. I think I said I was going to use my benches, didn't I? Where did I put the benches? So we can have those. You're making your own benches that you can put them wherever you want. You don't need to worry about the stupid pathing thing. That's wonky, isn't it? I fixed this since I've made the blueprint. That's annoying. It's better. One of them would use the restroom first. Yeah, maybe. Maybe that's what it was. There's classic people, just stallers. Someone's just a staller. I need to use the bathroom / go and see the flamingos. Hey, Luis. Luis. How you doing? Yeah, that works alright, I think. So that can just be... Obviously, again, it's all just implied. No one's actually going to sit there, but never mind. Can I get my... I got a bin. Have I got a bin? Oh, I'm using that bin. Have I made a custom bin for this yet? Will it let me put that? Oh, it will actually let me put that bin in that spot. Perfect. So you can play in sandbox mode. So if you look down in the left hand corner there, where the money would be, it says unlimited. So if you're playing sandbox mode, you can basically just turn all of the money off and all the requirements off and things, so you don't have to have all the restrictions that the game puts on you. Which I would say, if you're new to the game, it's good to kind of find a balance between those. So when I was new to the game, I played in franchise mode for a bit, to sort of familiarise myself with stuff, but then eventually I basically have pretty much everything switched off. So like you can actually even say specifically, you can turn your budget on a specific set of budget, which would be kind of cool, because you could set yourself an overall budget for the building the zoo. I'm not sure what that says. Apologies. I guess I made this rod for my own back, but if we can kind of try and keep it to English in the chat, it would be appreciated. Apologies, only because I don't speak whatever that is. That Spanish? I'm terrible with language. But yeah, you can basically set up a zoo. You can set. It's kind of cool. This is a fairly new thing. You can set up the settings to whatever you want it to be. They're saying you're an ostrich. Are they actually saying that? If they are, then I'm not good English, is that? No worries. You're welcome to stay and watch, but the trouble is, if you're not writing English in the chat, then it's difficult for me and the moderators to know that you're not saying something that people might find offensive. That's kind of the only reason why people have a bit of a rule about that sort of thing. Not saying you would be, although maybe you have just called me an ostrich. I don't take that massively as offensive. But maybe your intentions are to be offensive. I don't know. Best be safe than sorry. I guess we could have. So I think this is going to head off towards what's going to be the tropical, like the jungle-y bit, which is supposed to be like North Africa. Well, like sort of mountainy Africa, like gorillas and stuff in that direction. That way is going to head round. I can't remember where that was going, to be honest, but this way is heading towards the grasslands. Okay, it either needs to stop being in whatever language that is, or you need to leave. So you've been warned already. Not being rude after Google Translate open. I'm sure they're not, but yeah. I don't want you to have to translate everything that's been said, Lindsay, unfortunately. And I don't maybe the dude doesn't understand what I'm saying, which I always find a bit. But then why would you be watching if you don't understand what I'm saying? Anywho. Sorry, I'm new. What are you building? So we're just kind of working on this. Hey Golden Sam, how you doing? We're just working on this African zoo. So I'm kind of working my way away from the entrance. Started this a while ago. We've got an elephant habitat back here, which I need to kind of then just blend in, and we've got a flamingo habitat which I've got to blend in as well. But currently I'm just kind of working on this little entrance bit, really, this little plaza. I mean, if you're okay to translate it, Lindsay, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a massive problem, but if he doesn't understand we're saying it needs to be English only. Because the thing is, it's like it's a bit of it ends up being a bit of a slippery slope to not knowing what's being said in the chat. Those can't be up that high because I'd get tripped over. I guess we could put them back there though. Yeah, okay, cool. No worries, I'll leave it up to you. I'll just let you be bad cop on that one. I can't decide what I'm doing about the... I mean, I guess I'll use those. I guess they're okay. Is there a random person walking around? I think that's probably a staff member. Yeah, so he's a staff member. So the staff are still allowed to walk around. Just stick to building. Thank you, Lindsay. You're a star. I'll stick to me faffing. Oh, I do feel bad about that sort of thing because it's just like I don't want to be rude, but anyway, I'm not thinking about it anymore. It's out of my hands. Right, what should we do in there? What else have I used? I've used the sage. That's hawthorn. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's coming along. It's slow, but we're getting there. It's not supposed to be over the path like that. Unacceptable. Unacceptable, Toves. What else have we used? We've used some weeds and things, but I don't want to use that. In whatever language they're in, could you put in Google Translate speaking English so that they may be there at least understand? True, that's not a bad idea. It's not a terrible idea. Is there a small one of the hawthorn? Yeah, okay. That's the smallest one, is that one. Where was that other bit? How well can you customize the inside of the buildings? As well as you want, really. I mean, the smallest parts. So I'll show you. So you have you have like prefabs. So this, for example, is like a prefab building, and that would have its own. I've got some crap in the way of it, but that would have its own, background and stuff. So let's just pick one. Let's just plonk this down somewhere. So there's a bunch of these. So they get their own kind of little interiors and things. But if you want to, you can... It takes a lot of time to do it, but if you want to, you can do stuff like this, which is like I made a little... Oh, I've got some... Oh no. I made a little kind of interior for this. So obviously this doesn't function. It's all just implied. Doesn't really do anything. Yeah, so those little kiosks are really cool. If you wanted a souvenir shop, it's already pre-made. Yeah, and actually what a lot of people do is that because all of those buildings are all like fixed shapes and sizes. I haven't made a gift shop in this one yet, but so like there's a ticket window you can have, so you can make them much simpler than I'm making stuff, or you can go fully customizable. Hey Aurora, how you doing? Welcome. So yeah, you don't have to be anywhere near as precise or fiddly with the details as I'm being. I kind of just like that. It takes some time. It does take some time, Golden Sam. It's there, like it's a much more. It's a quite a complicated. So I'll show you. Like basically, can be quite a complicated set of controls. To example, to get your head round. But the difference between this game and, for example, if you're someone that's watched me play House Flipper before, is that House Flipper we have a fixed. So you get fixed snap points, right? So you can only rotate, I don't know, like that. Well, in this game, you don't have to have that. You can free place something and you can translate it exactly where you want it to be. There's no snap point. I can do anything I want with that. And so that, if you do, you go from something like that to... And this is how you can see that, like, the amount of time that can go into it is pretty nuts. Like, I've placed every one of those boards to make that deck. I've placed them all individually. Potato. So yeah, it can definitely take a lot of time. Although you can do stuff like, what's one of the things that's really super cool about this game is, see, when I've got something like that, I don't have to build it all over again. I can just duplicate it with a hotkey and put a new one down. So you do end up with lots of little tricks and lots of little ways to get things simpler. I mean, there are definitely simpler ways of playing the game. You don't have to do anywhere near the kind of amount of detail that I'm doing. And what you end up with, and actually what's on the workshop, is you can end up with, like, it's got a really good like blueprint system in the game. Lots of really, really talented people have put stuff on the workshop that you can. So if I want to go on the workshop, for example, and just that's mine. I'll find something that someone else has made. Here, right, so someone made all these jellyfish. I can't remember who it is, maybe Drax or someone like that. And these are all made from like painstakingly put together pieces. Like, that's actually 8 pieces there. That's all bits of roots and stuff. But you can do that with your own things as well. So when I tend to build something, let me think of an example. Oh, well, there's a good example here. This fence, for example. So I've created this. I knew I wanted to have this fence as a background in a lot of places. So what I did was I built myself a little set of all my potential variations of that fence. So I've got double gates, or I've got little people-sized gates, or bits with sort of tarpaulin and covering, single size, double size. And then whenever I want to build with that, I just come over here, pick up the particular bit I want, and I grab that one and I grab that one. So it's like building blocks that you put together. So it's got lots of really cool, it's definitely got lots of really, really clever building mechanics in this game. You can access the workshop so I can subscribe to something and immediately have it in the game. So I can go over to the workshop, subscribe to it, and it will immediately appear in here. I don't have to log out and log in again, for example. That I really can appreciate, or being able to highlight multiple items and move them at once. It saves a lot of time if you want to just move it over. Yeah, 100%. It's difficult to go back and play in something like House Flipper when you've played this, because it's like, it's quicker. Like, definitely it's quicker to do stuff. And it works really well for doing things like streams, because, as I said, I don't have to think about it as much. It's much more. It's much easier to be interactive in House Flipper as a stream, like someone streaming stuff, because it doesn't require you to think quite as much. There's just less options, right? Whereas this is much more like, okay, well, what piece do I want to use in that? Do you know what I mean? Like if you're doing a kitchen, you've only got a certain number of pieces. But if you're building a kitchen from scratch and you're actually building the units, that takes a hell of a lot longer time than in this game. But there are ways to play it simpler, and there are like different modes and things, and there are people that have put basically entire zoos on the workshop that you can just pick up and play with if you want, which is all cool. What are we using here? I wanted to move a table in there, and I had to move 4 full sets of dinnerware off the table before moving it. Yep. None of that has to happen. So if let's say I wanted to move this, I don't like it there anymore, I can just pick that up. Well, I'm clicking a whole bunch of other stuff and move all of that together. Or I want to just move that one, I can move that one. That's a massive difference. It's the payoff. I mean, this game has definitely got it's the payoff for being that much more flexible. Makes its controls a bit more involved. Definitely makes it a bit harder to learn and all that sort of stuff. But I think most people that put in the grind to get over because I've obviously got quite a few people that have done the. They've known me from playing House Flipper, and then they've found me playing Planet Zoo. So there's quite a few people that have done the transition between the games, and I think a lot of people would say the things that used to frustrate them about House Flipper are not here in this game. It's a huge quality of life thing. Like I know in House Flipper you have a 3D model, but like you can pick up a car. Sure as heck can scoot a table over a few feet without destroying the dishes. Yeah, it's just the way that game works. It just doesn't have. It's a very simple game. It's a very Joe. The other thing as well that's incredible about this game, and that would be an enormous. I love House Flipper as well. I totally agree. I love House Flipper, and I will definitely be going back to it. But in terms of creative opportunity for doing stuff, this game is light years beyond. But yeah, the other thing that's incredible about this game, and that would be an absolute game changer if they were ever to add to House Flipper, is the fact that you can undo stuff. So if I do a bunch of things, and I decide I don't like it, which I quite often do, and I used to do in House Flipper quite a lot often, was I'd do something and then look at it and go, I don't like that, and then I'd redo it. It's quite difficult to do in a lot of games, and in this game it's really not. So let's say I don't like any of that, I can just go undo and take it all out, and then I decide I actually do like it, so I just put it all back in again. And I think you get something like 50 undos or something. It's pretty epic. By 3D model, I mean like in this game you look like you're just placing things out of the ether, but in House Flipper you're actually moving the thing because you have a 3D model. So it's more realistic, but then you can just pick up a car. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, there are so many times, Miss Palindrome. If you've ever watched me playing House Flipper, Lindsay will attest to this, or Pinsy Dinio will attest to this, that we've spent an hour doing something on stream and accidentally I delete it. See you, Golden Sam. Take it easy. Thanks for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your day. / evening, night, whatever you're in. I don't know where these African daisies are native to, but I'm using them. Let's put a few nettles in there, I think, as well, just to get some more green in. I'm not sure about my knee of the tree. It's kind of annoying me. My tree knee is a little bit annoying. Annoys me when you place furniture, don't like it, sell it but lose money. Yeah. Your first message was a bit convoluted, was it? I don't remember. Don't worry about it. All good. Right, that's coming along, definitely. Maybe it needs something here. He burns it with a flamethrower. Yeah, we've definitely done that quite a few times. Far too many times. I mean, I guess there's a positive and a negative to the fact that you can undo stuff, though, right? Because the fact that it gives you that much more flexibility to change your mind, for someone like me, that's not always a good idea, because then you're just like, I mean, I watch people play. Sometimes I watch people play this game. Some people a lot of the guys that are, got really bigger, like much bigger YouTube channels than me, they appear to and maybe this is not what is actually happening, but they appear to just, like, in one go make something. They just sit down and they just, like, they don't even cut. They just create a habitat in one foul swoop. Like, a whole thing just gets built in one go. Or if not in one go, then in like, a fairly limited number of cuts, where everything I build is always, it's always like, many, many times later that I'm cutting and editing. I've changed my mind over something, or I've built a bit of it and then come back and done some more of it later. Luckily you get most of your money back, but it took ages finishing the very first house that you can buy outside of your office, and sold like 200 pieces of furniture. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Aurora. I think you're probably right. But there are a bunch of people that I know don't cut as much. I don't think appear to cut as much as I do. And I think that's a skill that I haven't got. That just I don't have that ability to be decisive, I guess, maybe. Like, there's been a bunch of things. I think all of this will stay, but certainly we built not that long ago in Tigwadu. I built a whole bunch of things that once I finished the stream, I just deleted it all. I just didn't like it. I looked at it afterwards and was like, no, all of this has got to go. It's not good enough. I'm redoing it all. It's finding that balance between like obsessing over the tiniest little detail that I'm not good at. I kind of I don't know. I kind of sometimes don't mind, because I look at some of the stuff and it's the fact that I know that I've spent the time to make it, I don't know. I've spent the time to think about how something might, like a door might open or something. Like, is there space to actually open that door? if there isn't space to open that door, then I wouldn't put it in there. But no one ever notices. No one ever notices that stuff, and you wouldn't expect them to. You mean that you have a cohesive idea and execute it quickly? Yeah, I really don't. I really don't. I mean, I know that there are a bunch of guys, one in particular, who like draws out what he's going to build before he builds it. I'm like, I can't. I don't. My brain doesn't work like that. And a lot of people reproduce stuff as well, which I very rarely do. Why can't I find mulch? Oh, it's because I've got the reset filter on. Do I want to mulch that? I think I don't want to mulch that. It's also the fact that if you create something that other people will probably like it, but you can also be extra critical of what you want it to look like and therefore don't like it. So people that can then build things that look great quickly can just be how you see it. I could never draw out what I'm doing because I never have any idea. Yeah, I'm the same, Beckaboo. I mean, I have a bit of an idea. Like I have an idea. This is the first zoo I've ever built where I have like a bit of a picture of what I'm doing. But in the like particular thing, I really don't. It's just kind of, I don't think my brain works like that. That it's just organically, I'm having to kind of organically do it. But I don't think that's particularly efficient, or that definitely isn't as quick at getting stuff done. Just get on and I'm like, what animal? Usually my animal choice and or where I'm putting my, besides how it looks and the construction. Yeah, definitely. This is the first zoo where I've actually mostly decided on the animals. I have mostly decided on the animals that are going into this. Largely because I want to make sure it stays at a reasonable size and I don't go crazy with it. So that was kind of the plan, and but the actual kind of execution of each one, and I'm not good at the whole kind of choosing, look at do like a reproduction of something, because I think I would have when I've tried to do that before, I just obsess over the fact that you can't get it quite perfect, and I'd be looking at the tiniest little detail and being like, yeah, but that's not how their light switches are. Do you know what I mean? That's not how their light switches are in that room, so I can't do it, and I just would implode. And I just don't think I work like that. I mean, I think I'm. Yeah, there's definitely like people like Esdan, like, he's an organic builder. He's a very, very good organic builder. He's just throwing stuff. I think he's got sort of what I was saying before, is like that confidence to believe that when you just carry on doing something. I think it's the same thing that I used to say about my house flipper builds. Just like, it's the not knowing when to stop, Gene. It's that thing that just keeps going, just more, keep putting more in, and it's at the end of it that you kind of go, does it need more? And if it doesn't need more, you've done, at least for that building session, and then you do more. My brain's not set up architecture stuff. Yeah, so that's the sort of thing that it's good to take references to, right? So like if you're doing something, I'm not particularly great at it at all, but like if you're looking at building something and you do kind of go, well, how does it, like, what does a roof look like? What happens when there's like a roof being supported? Like that's the sort of thing that is quite handy to take references from, and I would like Google certain things. But it's mostly just, just keep doing it and, failing and redoing and not worrying about it too much. Yeah, exactly. Help you with photos. Exactly. Find a picture that shows you the inside of a building, like a roof being supported, and that's what you use. And it's like you're saying, Lindsay. I tend to get a reference photo for a general feel, then let my imagination take over. Yeah, I use it. I use inspiration pictures as like a jumping off point, just for like getting just to get something happening, but not necessarily like I'm trying to recreate that. Can we have like, none of that's going to work, is it? Sage doesn't really work in this biome. Desert, North America. We just stick with the blackthorn. Africa. Yeah, I think that would be alright there. Kind of need to hide some of that stuff away that's going on in there. So I really haven't decided what I'm doing inside the building, if I'm doing anything inside that building. My original plan was that it would be like office space up in there, and you'd be able to kind of see out of the windows and things, and you'd be able to see people inside, which maybe I'll do, but I don't know. The other thing is well, or that you get, the thing that you get better at in this game is understanding how to do, like, where you need to give yourself tolerances for things. So you can see me like overlapping things into that wall there. That's because I know this is all dead space. I don't need it. And so sometimes when you build something, you build it in a way that's like, mostly this is was like a technique, right? So like you'd think like I had to place every one of these as separate sections of the wall. Oh, that's different because I changed that for the, and then I think I've joined a bunch of that. But a lot of it is just like the technique of learning how, like, you do a circle or you do something, and once you've got those things nailed, it definitely gets easier. It's made me think of animal-shaped hedges somehow, for me to need a reference to try and create. You maybe just saw them. There's some topiary in this, which I did used to use as like I used to use this as like a border thing, so you could use as like a little. It doesn't work in this biome, but if you sink them right down, you can use them as like a, like getting some little bits in there. But that's not right for this. The green is too green. Right, what we're doing down here, I think we'll just put some grass in down here. Can we use that? Not really. Taiga. I'm not going to obsess too much over the actual continents, but I'm trying to get the biomes roughly right. Yeah, I think we'll stick with the grass. But yeah, like a big thing in this, a big thing in building in Planet Zoo is really just like piece knowledge and stuff. Once you get to the point that you're like, I remember what pieces I'm using, it is usually like, it's the same thing that I think it's the same reason I always liked House It, but it was like it's just like a challenge, like how to do, like you get a picture in your head of what you want to do, and then you try and match a piece that kind of fits to that. Like, what can I use to kind of fit to solve this little problem. Keep getting surprised at the buildings that you are things you are made, not came with the zoo. Yeah, no, totally. This map was blank. See all that over there? That's what this map was like before I started. And this one's not. This one's all right. It's coming, but yeah, individual piece placed down. No worries. I got to head out to go shopping. That's really nice though. Love how it's coming along. Thank you very much, Becca Boo. You're always welcome. Much appreciated. Have some fun shopping. Alright, I think that'll probably... I don't think you need too much more in there, he says, placing another 10 pieces. Yeah, this is coming, it's coming. Right, it needs some things like... What it needs is... I wonder if I've got any... like drains and stuff. Like, what have I got that I've blueprinted from other zoos? Oh, I've got the bloops off. So I've got a floor drain. That's not... I don't really need that one anymore. Have I got like a... Have I got like a manhole cover? I feel like I've got something. Let's have a look. Hold on. Blueprints. I find it very difficult to recreate the natural environment of species. Well, so there's a thing that a lot of people get wrong, I think, in this. Olivier. If you look at zoos, they often don't actually like 100% try and recreate a biome, because so imagine these dudes, right? Imagine I put a koala in an African zoo. If it was inside, then maybe you'd use things like, you know, native species of plants and stuff. But if you put it outside, you wouldn't suddenly have palm trees in this zoo in like, you know, just randomly around, because they wouldn't live. So what you're actually better off doing is establishing what the palette, what the zoo should look like, and that's mostly what you use. And it's only occasionally. That's why I'm sticking to this species of plant, because they fit to the biome. Even when I go into the habitat of an animal, I'm still mostly going to stick with the native species of plants. And so you don't necessarily have to worry too much about what making the animal's habitat look right. It's one of the things that they kind of do get wrong in this game to an extent, because it forces you. Yeah, it forces you to use like this. It's saying like don't use that plant. Well, unless that plant was specifically like poisonous to that animal, which is, you know, would be different. But it's, you know, if you go to Chester Zoo, for example, or go to London Zoo and look at the flamingo habitat, it will be full of English. Yeah, it'll be full of the native species of plants and things. And a lot of people will say what you'll do is you see some people's zoos where they build, you know, you go into like a particular area of the zoo and suddenly you're in like a rainforest, but it's outside. And then you go into another bit of the zoo and it feels like North America or a desert area, but it's outside. Well, they wouldn't live. Those species wouldn't live. So it actually makes it simpler, because you mostly just focus on a few species. And I'm not brilliant at this, but the guys that are really, really good at doing like, you know, planting, you know, the Mike Sheets and those guys that are really good at, you know, doing flower beds and you know, landscaping. They tend to focus on, you know, a fewer species of plants than most people do, and actually just build those up. That's a knack I'm trying to get my head round, because I have a bit of a tendency to just try and use everything, but it looks better to, like, sometimes less is more. Weirdly less is more. I don't want to carry on that way too much because I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I think a building might be sticking out there. That's all going to move. But yeah, that's kind of a handy little tip, is to not like try and go, just be a little bit sparing about what plants and things you use in a habitat. And the other things as well, a good thing for realism, a good thing to make something look kind of look real, is to think about how that animal might interact with something. So if you put I did this in my a Babirusa habitat that came out on Saturday. So I put a load of plants in the habitat because I wanted stuff to look nice, but I was also being conscious of the fact that I know that those animals would make a mess of all those plants. They dig all those things up, they root them all out. So I made sure that, and this isn't an example, but if I didn't want that animal to get to that tree, I would just do something just to, put a little fence around that tree. And so from the guest point of view, that tree is in the habitat, but the animal doesn't have anything to do with it. Unfortunately, the game still counts it as being in the habitat, and so we tell you it was wrong, but the animal can't get anywhere near that tree, so it's not a problem. Right, what are we doing back here? I guess I need to decide what's happening, actually kind of happening on these little points here. Oh, I was looking for like a manhole cover, wasn't I? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump over to Tigrido for a minute. I'm not going to go to Tigrido 8 because that's going to have stuff that you're not allowed to see yet. We'll go over here because I've got some things I want to nick. I think I've got a that's useful. It doesn't necessarily get you to the right point though, Lindsay. It just means it's easier to look at the specific things that fit, that the game says fit. Oh, this is going to take a while. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. I forgot this might take a while. No. Go to Tigrido. You can't see it. You can't see it. Secret. Secret business. Sorry this is taking a while, beeps. I'm getting a bit worried about this zoo because we're not even like halfway through. I think it looks bad in a movie set. Yeah, I would say if you're struggling with getting it to look real, just look up some references of what it should look like. And actually what the game, this is what the game does, is it makes everything feel a little bit like it should be overdone. Everything should be over, like, look like a movie set, exactly what as you're saying. But if you look at most habitats in zoos, they're actually pretty light. There's not like a lot going on. They're very rarely are they all that, they don't have that much theming. They'll often be pretty basic. They'll often be pretty messy looking. There's not, I would say there are more zoos in the world that have just, functional spaces for animals. Oh god, this is old. Right, okay. So what was I looking for? I was looking for... where am I looking? Hello, flying wolves. I'm looking for my... Am I not even in the right... Is that what I'm looking for? That's what I'm looking for. That's all I was looking for. I swear I had this somewhere. Never mind. Maybe we'll call it manhole cover. It was a bit lazy of me. Let's see if there's anything else that I want. This is nothing. This is just nothing. I forgot anything else we want from here. That I've already got blueprinted. Got anything else? I think most of this stuff I've got. Wait, I thought I had like another. Oh, there's. That's what I was looking for. That. Okay, let's just do that. Tap and drain. This is really weird looking at it like this now. In fact, this is not that long ago. Oh, in fact, the toilet's in. Had I finished the toilet by this episode? Yeah. I finished all the... Oh, I hadn't finished the bottom half of the meerkats and the aardvarks. Okay, cool. Right, so jump back over there. And we'll just place that down. It needs a few things like that. It needs a few little bits and pieces on the ground. Maybe some stuff that looks like it's... The concrete's been patched up or something. Just some things to... And it's definitely one of those things. Starting a new zoo is the hardest thing. Getting to the stage where you've done the entrance. I mean, really, if you think about it, in a zoo, like all that stuff around the entrances, there's a lot of building involved in that. And then as you get towards the habitats are a bit simpler because a lot of them are just going to be, you know, they're a lot easier to build a habitat than it is to build, you know, an entrance building or the first section of a zoo. So once you've got to that stage where you've kind of established the actual, you know, the look and feel of the overall zoo, then you're really just kind of repurposing that to an extent, which is what I'm sort of doing now. Right, so right. What did we just call that? There it is. Oh, I did already have it, look. Annoying. Okay, so I want a few bits like this around. Thank you very much, dudes. Much appreciated, and thank you for speaking English. I wish I was better at French, but I much appreciate it. Do, 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 do. Right, so yeah, I need to kind of remember just to have like that sort of thing scattered about, just to kind of break up. And I want to do some stuff that just breaks up some of this, like that great big like swathe of solid concrete. Can we just maybe put some, like, if we just kind of put a few bits of like plaster down, Can we get those to look like they're patched? They're like bits that have been kind of patched. I want it to be a little bit, no, not too regular looking. That would be a wicked thing to see, actually. Like decals that you could place down that would be like, you know, like scuff marks and dirt patches and that sort of things. Just to kind of rough up something like this, because it's all too kind of pristine, isn't it? It's not. I want it all to be a bit more like messy looking, but I really don't think there's anything that you can do for that. I guess you could do like font pieces. I think you could do something with a font piece. I'm yet to really explore the potential of these. Oh, I'll tell you what I have been playing around with. I've been playing around with this idea for ages of doing like a... Oh, maybe I'll do this in this zoo, but doing like a trail for kids. So you'd be like, I don't know, there'd be like a follow this route for the elephants or something, and so that kind of leads you through the zoo. And then it starts at a point. Maybe we'll do. Oh, we could do that. We could do that in here actually. So there's like, you know, the elephants, and then it shows you, and it comes down off of the wall and then goes onto the floor, and then you follow that path all the way to the elephant habitat. It sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like a lot of work even when I'm saying it. But that might be kind of funky, and I don't think I've seen anyone doing that before. You got to be a little bit careful sometimes when you say stuff like that, because suddenly someone suddenly does it, and you're like, oh, that's a shame. Someone's already done it. I quite often end up doing this as well, just a piece that I haven't really played with very much, just kind of looking at it and going, like, what can you make out of that? Yeah. That does actually kind of work, doesn't it? As like just scruffy looking grass. You'd need a lot of it though. Yeah, you'd need a lot of that, and you'd need to kind of keep messing it up in order to get it to look like something. But that's kind of interesting. I've never looked at that before. It's kind of a cool piece. I think one thing that the Frontier do better than any other game like this as well is that the actual, you know, the models of the pieces are so good that you just don't, you'll end up finding stuff that you've, yeah, on every side of a piece you'll end up with something that's like kind of cool looking. You're like, oh, I could use that texture in some way. Yeah, that could end up being a bench or something, or whatever. Yeah, it's supposed to obviously be a roof piece, but if you don't look at the piece like that, you just look at it as a potential. Right, what was I doing? I'm losing focus. My focus is slipping. What was I doing? I was doing the stuff on the ground, wasn't I? Right, I wanted to see. How would we make something look like it's like a... Oh, I guess we could have some... Could we have some like mud texture? Here and there? Maybe if the mud texture just like really looked like... Match the colour of the concrete. could kind of work. So we could do something like, let's do this. It might be a bit fun. We'll put a little like we'll put a little sprinkler in there because that's all quite lush and flowery. Where's the water sprinkler thing? Dealy doodler. What's that? Oh, that's I just picked up. Tap and drain. Let's just stick that down so I remember to use it. These are really these often get not used, but they're really good models, and some of them work really well. Like these pieces are like, oh, these are my new favourite pieces because you can use that as building. That's what I did with the shed that I used for the Barbarossas. Right, let's focus. I need to focus. I think I'm getting to the end of the stream because my focus is wavering. I'm starting to lose my focus. Alright, so I might just do this. Right, so let's create a little. Just put a little sprinkler bit in there. This is basically just an excuse for me to do a different colour of. To break up the concrete and make. So that's all sprinkling water basically. So that gives me the excuse to be able to put in some different colour in. So just like implying that the water is splashing over those bits, basically. Oops. Can I? Thank you, game. I guess that texture's not quite right, but that's okay. Looks like it's. Yeah, not sure. Oh, I wonder if I'd be better off. Hang on. Is there actually? There's a plaster column, isn't there? Not that puppy. That's huge. Maybe this guy. Yeah, and that one doesn't have the problem of being on the grid. And I don't, weirdly enough, I'm not going to fix the Z fighting on that because I think that's actually going to kind of work. Once I put the splash on it, it's gonna work. Once I put the splash effect underneath, it'll just look like that's more of it hitting. Yeah, that's kind of working. Let's get rid of this then. Totally pointless. It does nothing other than break up some of this grey, but never mind. Never mind. Do. Here, and then we'll put a little bit of, a little bit over there as well. Da, 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 da. There we go, and then we'll put a little bit of the actual splash effects on it as well. Small. I just want a little bit of it, not too much. And this is why I don't get this is why I don't get enough done. This is why I don't get enough habitats done. So I get stuck on doing things like this. There we go. Yeah, I kind of like that. I think that kind of works. So we made some progress, not an enormous amount, but we made some progress. We did. It definitely needs. It definitely needs more here. Maybe I'll just put another bit of a flower bed in there or something. I don't really want to disturb that view though, because I think there's going to be a building over there somewhere. But I think that's going to be enough for tonight. I'm going to be streaming PZ again on, what day did I say? Saturday, I think. Did I say Saturday? Yeah, same time Saturday. I'll be back here. I'm not sure what we'll do yet. We shall have to see. Right, peeps. Thank you very much for hanging out. Much appreciated. And I shall catch you guys on the next one. Take it easy.